Miss Synthetica. Oh my days. Please don't pay attention to Miss Synthetica. She's stiff as hell. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it. Hello YouTube! Welcome to my channel! After I don't know how long I've said that I want to do a YouTube video, I'm finally doing my first one. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here, we're finally here. And yeah, I just want to chat to you guys. But at first instance, let me just introduce myself a little bit. My name is Ramona and I am based in the UK, but I was born and raised in Sweden with some of that Ugandan seasoning, if you know what I'm saying. Like, that got me this popping ass, glowing ass melanin. And yeah, I just thought I'd do this little video for y'all as my first video, just to chat to you guys a little bit, because Bojo has released that amazing news a couple weeks ago about the roadmap and the fact that we may not go back to normal at last. And I mean, who isn't ready to be outside? I want to be outside. I am kind of tired of indoors, so I'm excited. I'm excited to be outside. However, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of anxiety and nervousness has sunk in a little bit. I don't know if anyone can relate, but I am a bit nervous about going outside again and having all of those distractions back in my life, and not to mention just being worried that I haven't achieved anything in lockdown. But then again, I started reflecting and realizing, no, you know what? I actually have achieved something. It might not be a new skill. It might not be a massive weight loss, but there are some things that I've learned in lockdown, and I thought I'd sit down and share this with you guys. And I want to tell you guys, like, do not stress about it. Reflect, because you have done something. There's just the fact that you survived lockdown, okay? Just the fact that you are still here is credit enough. But let me share a little bit about what I've learned, so that maybe it's something that you haven't tried yet or haven't taken on yet, that you might decide, oh, actually, I haven't really taken the time to do this yet. Because once the distractions come back, it might just get a little bit harder to try and do those things. So number one for me that I learned in lockdown was the importance of loving yourself and loving yourself for who you are without the distractions and external, validations from other people. Like, what I mean by that is that once lockdown happened, one of the toughest things was everything closing, not being able to socialize anymore, not being able to go out for drinks, go out to eat with your friends and, be social, be live, be out there doing things, like you feel like you're doing things. And suddenly lockdown happens and you're just like, damn, what am I left with? I don't know if anyone else felt this, but that's definitely what I felt, because I noticed myself loving who I was in those social environments. I mean, it may seem obvious that, you should love yourself regardless of what other people think about you. But I cannot lie that when lockdown happened, I didn't quite realize, but I realized that what affected me was not being able to dress up, go out, be with friends who gas you up. Yes, queen this, yes, queen that. Or just being in a social environment where you feel like you're on top of the world and you're just socializing and you're with your friends and you feel amazing. Like, it's short bursts of energy that you get from other people that can be quite nice. And now you're completely stripped off of that in lockdown. And it made me realize that I hadn't actually taken time to get to know myself. I mean, I've had alone time, but a lot of my alone time was chores. Like, I'd be like, no, I need a break this weekend because I need to clean my room. I need to do this. I need to study, or, at uni anyway. But it's just taking that time off to do things that are productive. But I've never taken time off to just relax, spend time with myself, get to know myself, and thereby developing self-love. And it's also just one of those things whereby sometimes we identify ourselves with the external things, like we identify ourselves with the person that we are when we are with other people. We see ourselves through other people, what we are to other people. Like, I'm just trying to like explain how lockdown really forces you to be with yourself 24/7. Whether you live with people or you live by yourself, you're kind of with yourself a lot more than what you're used to, at least for me anyway. And it's really been such a journey in just trying to like get to know the authentic things about myself, because there's definitely been things about myself that I have disliked, that I've shoved to the side, that I have like sort of just tried to really hard to bury. But once you're on your own, those sides come out. Like, for example, maybe an example would be easier because I realize I'm just chatting loads. But for example, I'm quite sensitive, and I used to dislike that so much. Like, I've always struggled with the fact that I am a very sensitive person. I take things to heart. I take things personally, whatever. And I noticed my sensitive side really coming out when lockdown happened, and I hated it. I just didn't like it. I get pissed off at myself if I was upset about something. And then I started to try and embrace it, because I was like, okay, you're fighting it, but this is just who you are. And it's the fact that I can't turn to anything to distract me from that side of me that I don't like. Like, I can't call up a friend and be like, let's meet up, let's do something. I just had to deal with it right there and then. And that was really difficult. But I definitely encourage you, if you haven't embraced some of the things about yourself that you don't like that much, which by the way is completely okay and not harmful to anyone else really, and it's just a beautiful human and vulnerable side to yourself, I encourage you to embrace it. Like, honestly, it's a-okay. Nobody knows how to be you other than you, and being you is beautiful. Being human is beautiful, and that's one of the like most valuable lessons that I had through lockdown, to be very honest, because I don't think you guys, people who know me, know how hard I've fought that sort of sensitivity. Like, I don't even want to watch sad films because I don't want to explore the feeling of sadness. I don't want to explore me being sensitive and, you know, me reacting in a somber way, because I've always wanted to be that happy, you know, social, blah, blah, blah. Whereas like when I've been in those depressive moods, like I just don't like myself. But now I sort of just embrace myself. Which brings me on to the next point, actually. Alongside self-love and loving every single part of yourself outside of the things that you identify with that are external, is also just having self-compassion, which makes self-love so much easier. Like, be compassionate about the things you went through in lockdown. Be compassionate about the days where you felt down, you felt sad. Like, come on, we are in a pandemic. It's been difficult. We have struggled. You are allowed to feel sadness. So having that compassion rather than getting frustrated at yourself. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I used to get so frustrated, especially in the first lockdown. If I had a bad day, I'd just be like, what's wrong with you? Like, you know, in my head, like, my anxiety is like, what's wrong with you? Why are you sad? Why are you so sensitive? And this also stems from probably things that I guess people have said to me from childhood, and just sort of facing that demon and just being like, well, no, I am sad and I have a right to be sad. Like, let me just be sad. It's okay, but also knowing that that feeling is temporary. Because it's temporary, it's okay to be sad. Like, you're not gonna always be sad. It's okay to feel sadness. It's okay to feel emotions and being emotional. So when you're having a bad day, be compassionate. Be compassionate about it. Like, have empathy for yourself. A lot of the time we can have empathy and be compassionate towards other people, but when it comes to ourselves, we're just our toughest critics. So don't beat yourself up about anything you have or haven't achieved. Don't beat yourself up about, you know, not leaving the house all day. Just be like, okay, you know what, I've had a day and I didn't leave the house because I felt a bit sad, but that's okay. Tomorrow's a new day and I'm gonna try and have a better one. You know, just having that sort of attitude of, you know, just being compassionate and having empathy for yourself. I'm repeating myself, but I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Learn self-compassion because it's so important. And through self-compassion, you're then able to validate your emotions instead of getting frustrated with yourself. And that also leads you to like getting to know yourself and thereby loving yourself, because your emotions really, really show you who you are. I hope this makes sense at all, but I'm just talking in general about validating your emotions and having compassion when things aren't really going that well, instead of being pissed off at yourself or blaming yourself for feeling those feelings. God damn it. Hello, Ramona speaking. Yeah, this is Ramona. Oh, okay, hi. I'm recording my YouTube. Yes. It just gets so dark and then I can't do it. Well, if you can go back to minding your business, I'll be done soon. Bye. Now, alongside self-compassion, I also learned how self-care makes it easier to love yourself. Just taking care of your mind, your body, your soul, you know, it just makes it easier to love yourself and feeling that sort of value towards yourself, whether it's moisturizing, everybody needs moisturize, but also having a skincare routine, just having that sort of self-care routine where you spend time with yourself and you just see every like bit of yourself, every flaw, every, you know, imperfection and perfection, everything that you start to embrace and just love about yourself. You're just like, ooh, I love myself. I'm taking care of myself. Like, it feels good to take care of yourself. So if you haven't developed like a self-caring routine and self-caring moments, do it. Like, you're gonna need it, and you're gonna need to be able to make time for those things once outside is open. So another thing that I learned, which came from me, you know, gaining weight and being like, oh my God, how did we get here? But then at the same time, trying not to panic, because I don't think it's worth panicking over at all. Because I know society tells us that we're not supposed to look a certain way when it comes to body types, but hey ho, that's not what I'm here to talk about. Who cares? You're beautiful. What I want to talk about though is, which comes with taking care of yourself, is any exercise is better than nothing. I mean, because the hardest thing about the lockdown, another hard thing about lockdown was how the gym closed, and I loved going to the gym. Bear in mind, I probably can't lift a single weight now. But like, essentially, I loved going to the gym. That was my way of exercising, and that was my therapy. When that got taken away, I did not know what to do. There were so many people who were like, work out from home, do these little workouts from home. And I tried, but I didn't like it, and it wasn't the same. And I just wasn't in an environment where I felt motivated to do that. So for a very long time, I was physically inactive. But that slowly but surely had a detrimental impact on my mental health, as well as my physical health. Like, I could actually feel myself like just deteriorating. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm getting weaker. But now, over the past couple of weeks, I've decided to go for at the very least, a 30-minute walk every day, because it's something. And like I said, literally any exercise, any form of movement is better than being static, because your body needs to move. And also, it's so helpful towards mental health. So adopting that mentality that any exercise is better than nothing, and keeping it even as things around you start to open, make time for your body to move every day. Like, as in, I'm not talking about sweating every day. I'm not talking about going for a run every day. Me, I don't like runs, please. But I'm just talking about go for a little walk, just to like reflect, spend a little bit of time on your own. Or, well, you can walk with your flatmates if you live with flatmates, to be fair. I walk with my flatmates sometimes. But it's quite nice for me to go on a walk on my own, because then I get to listen to music and all of that. Not that I dislike my flatmates' company at all. Okay, I don't know why I'm talking about my flatmates so much, but I live with 3 boys. But like I said, walk with someone, don't walk with someone, but just do something with your body to move around, because it will have an impact on your mental health. So something else that I also learned that I think is super duper important is downtime. Having downtime and having time where you do nothing, where you just relax, put on Netflix, what have you, allocate some downtime. Because one thing I've noticed is that we live in a generation where having an unproductive day is shameful. But then I'm like, okay, well, if you've got a 9-to-5 job, you work really, really hard throughout the day, throughout the week, and you're coming to the weekend, and some people are like, you need to grind, you need to build, you need to prepare for the future, Like the 20s are bloody stressful. No one told me it was going to be this stressful, but I actually think it doesn't need to be. Having downtime, relax, do absolutely nothing because you deserve it. I just don't like that, people are constantly like, while you sleeping, I'm grinding. Okay, whatever, because people are doing things. If you are like me, you're a regular person who literally just, either went to uni or whatever you did to get to the job that you are at now, and you work Monday to Friday, some even Monday to Sunday. Don't be ashamed of having downtime. Don't be ashamed of having time where you do absolutely nothing. Like, I just want to emphasize this because I see a growing culture of everyone has to be an entrepreneur. Everyone has to have a business. I'm not saying those things are bad. Those things are great. I applaud people who do that. I applaud people who have the energy for it. But it's so important to allow yourself to just relax. We're not meant to be going at it 24/7. We're not meant to be, having lack of sleep just because you're working super hard. I mean, if you've got the passion for it, fair enough. Like, I'm not trying to tell people who are doing these things to stop and not do those things, but I'm just trying to say that there's no shame in not doing anything for an entire day. There's no shame in, choosing to have a duvet day. There's zero shame in it. Do it, indulge, enjoy, honey. Like, you deserve that break. Take that break. Like, honestly. Because if you shut down, if you what's the word? There's a word for it that my mum keeps telling me that I need to watch out for. It's not blacking out. What is it? But it's essentially, someone tell me what it is, because I actually can't come up with the word right now. But it's essentially where your whole body just shuts down because you've been working so hard. Make time for downtime. Even when outside opens, make time for downtime, because it's going to be even more difficult to make time for those things. But I do realize how important that is. And I don't know why lockdown made me realize it, but I think it's because of watching people constantly being like, learn a new skill. You've got time now. You've got so much time. You need to fill that time up with something. But sometimes it's okay to fill that time up with absolutely nothing. It's okay to fill that time up with Netflix. It's fine. It's really not that deep if you decide not to do anything for a day. So alongside downtime, I actually sort of started to rediscover and discover some hobbies that I like outside of the commercial activities, which also helped me get to know myself as well. For example, I also got I got a puzzle, which I have found entertaining whenever I've made time to do it, and just to relax and be with myself for a little bit, which I quite like. It's actually a childhood hobby that I used to have that I loved. I don't know how long ago it was since I did a puzzle, but I used to love doing puzzles. So it was quite nice to just sort of rekindle that little activity. And then in terms of discovering the new, I joined a book club, and it's been a very valuable experience, I would say, because it was one of my friends from back in college in Sweden who started the book club, and basically she said, does anyone want to join a book club where we read books by Black and Brown authors? And I was like, hell yeah, sign me up, which I did, and it's been really valuable because some of the books that I've read, I'm not even a reader. First of all, can I just address that I'm not even someone who likes to read books? So this was really interesting for me to just join and just be like, you know what, let me just do it, because what else am I going to do in this lockdown? And the books have been really good so far, and some of them have even been, like, to an extent at least, relatable in terms of, you know, some of the experiences that we've had, some of the thoughts that we've had, and I quite enjoyed it. And as a result, old girl bought 3 books the other day. Like, who am I? Like, who is this new, sophisticated, cultured, educated woman? 3 books? Who does that? I don't even know when I'm going to read them, but I'm gonna make sure to read them. I even have a reading list. I never had a reading list. Ever. Growth. But yeah, just finding things that, you know, simple pleasures that you might just enjoy, or something that you've not tried before, and you're just like, you know what, I quite like this. Like, just learning something new about yourself, because that's pretty exciting, because that will also make downtime a little bit easier. Because if you're someone who's like always on the go and you can't just sit, that's also a nice way to like complement your downtime, finding a relaxing hobby that you can do when you've allocated time to relax. So yeah, these are things that I learned through lockdown, and I hope to take them with me even as things open. I hope you enjoyed this first video. I know it was a lot of talking. I hope to do a little bit more of active things in my next videos, but I felt like this was just something important to talk about, because lockdown is coming to an end, and I just think some people anyway, I've seen, are freaking out a little bit about it opening, and I'm just saying, don't freak out. Just be healthy, be happy, love yourself, okay? Take care of yourself. Oh, before I say goodbye, also, don't forget to call friends and family. Like, communicate with the people who deeply care for you, because those are probably the people who you are your most self around as well. But yeah, I hope you have a happy day, a happy week as we enter the 8th of March. I know for some of your parents out there, your kids are going back to school. Congratulations. Your kids are going back to school. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you guys, because I know that it's been a struggle for you. I'm sorry, children, but I'm sure the children are happy to go back too, because yeah, everyone kind of needs their space. But yeah, like, I hope you enjoy the rest of the lockdown. I hope I've encouraged you in some sort of way to just make time for yourself whilst you still can, so that you can have a habit of making time for yourself when everything else comes to distract you. And also, just don't panic about it. Everyone's going to just be happy to see you again. Everyone's just going to be happy to see you again, regardless of, you know, how you look, regardless of any skills you've learned, even if it's 0. Who cares? I mean, what have I learned? How to eat. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yes, how to eat. What's up? But yeah, have a nice week, everyone. Bye. Mwah.